Welcome back to Rabid Noise on Rabbit Radio. My guest on the program now is Mårten Hagström from Meshuggah. What's happening tonight, man?
Nothing much. It's midday here, and it just started snowing up in Sweden, so we're getting ready for winter up here.
Getting cold?
Yeah, a little bit. Not really bad yet, but it's going to get there.
Oh, well, enjoy the whatever warm weather you've got left there. So it's great to talk to you again, man. Last time we spoke, you were just about to tour with Lamb of God. So what have you guys been doing since then?
Wow, since then we've been touring up until I guess July this summer, and when we stopped doing the first leg of our 25th anniversary touring that we kicked off. We finished off the Colosse touring for the Ophidian Trek, and then we went into doing some shows to kind of commemorate the fact that we're old fuckers now and been around for too long. So that's what we've been up to, and then we've been, wrapping things up for this album and taking care of some things that are, on the administrative side that are, not so fun to take care of. And then right now we're, starting to get back into some kind of writing mode. It's early stages yet, but, we're messing around with new ideas and stuff.
Do you guys just been jamming out in the studio, or are you just sending ideas back and forth to each other?
Mainly just, sending stuff back and forth. I've been sitting now the last few weeks at home working by myself. I know Thomas has been working a little bit with Dick, but mostly by himself as well. And that's generally how it goes for us. I mean, it doesn't get to be a kind of a band effort until we've got some, something to stand on, some ideas and some half songs here and there that we can, all dig into and feel are like, cool stuff that might make it to the next album. And then everybody gets into the process, and then they're like, it gets like snowballing from there, it gets bigger and bigger real fast. But the early stages are always real slow, and that's where we're at now. But we're not rushing anything. We got a final leg of the 25-year anniversary thing going on in December in Europe, so we're actually planning and preparing a bit for that as well.
Man, it sounds like you guys got a lot going on at the moment, which is exciting for your fans, of course, And as you were mentioning before, you've just released the latest live DVD, the Ophidian Trek, which is it's amazing, man. It really captures the band's live energy, and it sounds awesome too when you crank it. So, there's not many bands that do the live DVD CD thing anymore, and I think that's a bit of a shame. Hey, do you think that things like bootlegs from smartphones and YouTube have something to do with that?
Probably, but I think also it's like, what used to be something that actually labels could make, money off of. DVDs are, for the most part, and for most bands, they cost quite a lot to produce, if you compare it to a lot of more, should I say, simpler promotional tools. And since CD sales are not around anymore, I think it's kind of logical step for most physical releases to take a step back. But as far as for us, we do what we always do. We just don't think so much about whether it's a smart thing to do or not. We think about it from a non-commercial standpoint. This was chance for us to, present something, a part of the band that we weren't able to present on the last live DVD. Because now, like you say, this is more of a representation of what it's like, both from an audio and visual standpoint, as like, bringing the atmosphere or the vibe that we're about, like, and bring that home to people. So for us, it was just like, this is something that fans should be able to get a load of, even though they might not be able to see us live,
I think that's important because, when I was growing up and I was a young lad and I wasn't old enough to go to shows, I relied on those live DVDs, like on the old VHS. I'm a bit old myself. So, videos and Faith No More at Brixton. I just played them to death, I think for some people in some countries that can't go just go and see you guys. I think that's great that, you have that there so they can experience it as well. Did you have a live video that, you just played to death when you were younger?
Yeah, actually, but the funny thing is that most of the when we were kids growing up, there was a lot of those, people also on a VHS. They, you recorded off the TV, like, when we had Headbangers Ball back in the day and shows like that, where they did like specials. Like I remember one in particular where it's a live show from Dynamo in Holland with Testament from I don't know when, but it's like maybe 80, 87, 88 or 89 or something. And I know that was hugely popular. Like everybody was giving a copy to somebody that they knew were into metal because it was such a vibe going there. And that was like filmed midday. So it was nothing fancy like that. But I know there was a lot of those shows where Headbangers Ball went to, record maybe an hour of some set someplace. And also, the one video that I know was a big deal for people that really didn't focus that much on a really spectacular live performance was the Cliff 'Em All video, Metallica old, because that really, I think that really was much more important for Metallica than anybody would know, because that video made people and guys in bands sitting around playing, some thrash metal songs feel like these guys are our friends. They're just like us, they're having the same interest, they're fucking around in the same way. They're, it was a way to like get intimate with a band that you like really love. So I think that, that video was a big deal,
That was another one on my list. Played that tape to death, and then I had to get another one. Man, well, we don't have that problem anymore. So do you remember the first band you ever saw live?
Yeah, I mean, if you discount disregard all the local acts that I saw growing up, bands that nobody would know outside of where I live, all of us apart from Dick are from way up north, which means that it's like a 6.5-hour drive down to Stockholm by car. And, when we were young, when we were like 15, well, like in the 80s, 86, 87, around there, it wasn't something you didn't go to shows. That was nothing, something you did. You heard about shows, you could watch it on TV, but you never went to shows. But actually, being such a huge Metallica fan, when I was 15, my mom actually followed me and my friend down to Stockholm so that we could go and see Metallica. And that was the first show, a real proper metal show that I ever went to. And that was the Master of Puppets tour, and it was the last show with Cliff Burton. He died just hours after I saw him. So, and that was, of course, a tragedy. But in retrospect, we had such a fucking... it was so lucky to be able to go and see that show at that age, coming from where I'm from, and then catching, the last original setup. So it was, that was the first show I saw.
That's a pretty special show, man. I guess, when I first saw, Fear Factory live, that was it for me, and that's what really kicked it off. So, everyone's got their one band, or you can see so many shows throughout your life, but you'll always have that one that'll just always stick in your mind, So are you a mosh pit kind of guy, or do you sort of stand back and appreciate?
Well, I mean, when I was younger, like for instance, on that show, I was a mosh pit guy, definitely, like up until my 20s. But to be honest, since I started, since Meshuggah started, since we started go out playing a lot of live shows, I kind of stopped watching bands from the crowd, because either you were at a show where you were at a festival, and then you had to take care of all your own shit. So you maybe dip in and watch a few bands from the side of the stage, And when I go to see bands, if I go to see a band, I want, I enjoy the mosh pit action, looking at it, and I know why it's cool to be in the mosh pit. So, but if I go to see a band that I enjoy musically, I'd like to hear what they're doing. So I'm always one of those guys standing by the sound in front of house board, because that's where it's going to sound best. So
yeah, that's it. Without an elbow or a boot to the back of the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, as you said before, you guys have just hit 25 years being together. Well, you know, that's an amazing achievement for any band these days. So, you know, what do you think the secret is?
Well, fair measure of stubbornness to begin with. I mean, and you know, it's like we've been very unconscious about our whole career, sort of. You know, it started out with a bunch of guys coming together because we were like-minded in certain ways, not always, but certain ways when it comes to music. And what we could make together became kind of a journey, and we've been lucky enough to still be on that journey. You know, it's like it's a trip to always have, like, you know, every album kind of tends to be an imprint of what this group dynamic is all about at this point in time. And the fascination amongst us in the band about, like, how that works and the joy of exploring that is why we're still around, because we've been a slow-growing band, but we're taking small steps every time we release an album, and it's been steadily growing. We're like a virus, you know. It's not noticeable to begin with, and now we've been doing it so long that it's become second nature. So now I think, you know, none of us know what we would be doing if we weren't doing this. You know, it's come to that point. So, you know, we're really fortunate in that way.
Here's to another 25 years for you guys. So we're going to go to the live version of Combustion from the Ophidian track now. Look, it was great talking to you again, Mårten, and as I said, best of luck with the next 25 years, and can't wait to hear the new Meshuggah album.
All right, thank you, man. It's nice talking to you as always.